right, we got a fun one today. I have Hunter Bloxham from Public Land Sportsmen on the podcast. Not Public Man, Public Land Sportsmen. Me and Hunter have been doing stuff together for a few years, running our gear. They film all their hunts. It's him and his two brothers. Just all around great dudes out there killing animals and backpack hunting and getting it done. Hunter, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Drew, I appreciate you having me on. So this will be fun.
Yeah, dude. I'm excited to have you on here too. Um, Public Land Sportsmen. I mean, you've been around for a while now. Are you guys mostly YouTube, mostly Instagram, but mostly YouTube, right?
Actually, mostly Instagram. We have dabbled in the YouTube game. We're not as good at film as we would like to be. So we're always upgrading our equipment, always trying to learn different tips and tactics with editing. And my brother actually went to a film school, so he's kind of teaching us a little bit behind the camera. But it's a lot of work, man. So mostly what we do now is, I mean, we pack around nice cameras. I think we all have the Sony A7 III, and we all just love to shoot content, product photography, just cool pictures in the outdoor space, out while we're hunting. Um, yeah, that's we just like to capture the hunt. A picture's worth 1,000 words. I wish we were better at video, but we will get there. So.
So you guys like more of the short form stuff versus the long form stuff right now?
Yeah, and I think we'll always kind of be that way. Even when we do start filming or getting better at filming hunts, I think our hunts will always be shorter hunts, more action packed. I feel like everyone wants instant gratification right now. They don't want to watch an hour long hunt on YouTube, especially if there's no action in it. So I think we'll always try to keep our stuff short, sweet, and yeah, just get down to the punch.
On the filmed hunt stuff, you know the trick to editing film?
What's that?
Pay someone to do it.
That's true.
I actually I just went to Hawaii with Brad from Gritty, and I have an editor that just I send all my stuff to. He edits all my stuff for me for YouTube, Instagram, and then I also have my girl Yolanda. You've talked to Yolanda, I'm sure. She does a lot
Yep.
of her short form stuff on YouTube because that stuff just kills you. And I don't mind like filming it and doing it, but trying to turn it into something cool, it's hard. Like I have the software to do it, right? I bought like I don't remember the name of it, like the expensive software, like $500 or whatever. I have it, but it takes me like hours to make something that these guys can make in 10 minutes better. You know.
100%. Yeah, and I think we'll definitely get there. As the budget allows, we'll start to maybe pack a cameraman around or something. So,
Yeah, I'm actually bringing a cameraman on all my hunts this year, so that'll be fun. We leave on this. This will probably come out in October, but right now it's the end of August. I just got back from Hawaii, and now I'm leaving for Colorado for over the counter elk on this Saturday, and I'm bringing a cameraman for that whole thing.
that'll be awesome, man. Heck yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, man. Just bring my buddy Joey and my buddy Cade. Cade's gonna film for us, and we're gonna try and kill a public land bull. I think it's like 7 or 8% success rate over there, and I'm gonna try and give it 10 to 14 days. And typically, if I can find something, I can kill something. So I just gotta find them and then be in the right place at the right time, and then all I have to do is put an arrow in the side of it. Right? It's that easy.
That's it,
Archery.
man.
It's that easy. Archery elk hunting. Just put an arrow into the heart and lungs or both lungs, and they die. So that's hunting's easy.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out. My buddy Joey said he's willing to shoot a cow, which is kind of cool. So it's like either sex tag. So
Fill the
that's kind of
freezer, man.
cool. Fill the freezer and get him done. Because honestly, trying to get two bulls down, I won't shoot a cow. Trying to get two bulls down is a little bit more than I want to do. I shouldn't say I won't shoot a cow because if it's like the last day, I might shoot a cow. But I won't shoot a cow. I have enough meat. So I won't shoot a cow. Let's just throw it out there right now, so the world knows I will not shoot a cow on the side. If I shoot a cow, message me that I'm a douchebag because this came out afterwards and I shouldn't have done it. So, but no, I have enough meat. I have enough hunts this year. I don't have to go and shoot a cow. Um, so yeah, dude, you guys have been doing it for a long time, right? You and your brothers.
Yep. Yeah, we started, man, I don't even know the year we started. We started hunting together probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago. My brother and I have been hunting together forever, but my brother-in-law, he married into the family, obviously, was a hardcore hunter, and we just started going on all these hunts together. And I actually think it was an archery elk hunt in our home state of Idaho. And yeah, we were just talking about sharing our adventures. This was before even Instagram. We just packed around a little camcorder and would try to like relive the hunt. It was really cool. But yeah, man, so we just kind of slowly grew. We don't do it for the growth or the followers. We just do it because we're passionate about it. We're going to be hunting every year, whether we're packing cameras or not. We're just going to have tags in our pocket and go and get after it. So my brother Jake and my brother-in-law Garrett are the ones who started it with me, and we just kind of all share our hunts and adventures. And now that we're all kind of spread apart, I'm in southern Utah now, so I live in St. George. My other brothers are still in Idaho, but we get together when we can on hunts, but we also do a lot of hunts separate now, and we're still sharing our adventures. So
Nice. And that actually isn't that far of a drive from southern to, I mean, what is it, like 6 hours to get up there or something?
yeah, yep, 6.5 hours, so not bad.
Yeah, and hopefully you meet in between hunting Utah and stuff. You guys, so you've killed some bulls with your bow, right? But we're gonna pretend that our elk season's over when this comes out. It's kind of more mule deer focused time. You've told me before in the past that your favorite animal, you could pick one, would be mule deer.
Yep, that's it.
So let's explore that a little bit more. Um, you got a pretty big bucking wall behind you. What's your style of hunting? How are you hunting mule deer? Where are you looking for them? What units are you looking for? Not say unit numbers, but what kind of terrain are you hunting for? And let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I don't even know when the book came out, but I'm all things hunting. I want to learn more. I want to read about it. I want to get better. I want to sharpen my skills. And a book came out by David Long called Public Land Muleys. And
Yep,
David Long
the Oregon
was
guy, right?
originally I think he's bounced around, but Wyoming, I think. Um, but anyways, he was like wrote this book on all things public land muleys, more like backpack style hunting. And when I read that book, I was like, I got to start backpack hunting. And this was, I had grown up hunting hard, but we never really camped out overnight. So I got into backpack hunting with my brothers. So my style is living off my back. I mean, if I can throw all my gear on my back, backpack in a couple miles, get away from the crowds, that's my style of hunting. I will take it any way that I can get it. I've got a third season Colorado deer tag this year, so that's going to be totally different. I'm not going to be sleeping in a tent when it's 2 feet of snow on the ground and below freezing. Fingers crossed. But yeah, so backpack style hunting mule deer, that's my cup of tea.
Yeah, I have a third season tag as well. I will have like some hot tents with me, like my Seek Outside tent with me, but I'll also have my 16 by 12 Davis wall tent with my big stove because I don't want to be. I mean, like fingers crossed, it is snowing. Fingers crossed, there is 2 foot of snow on the ground. The deer are just getting pushed. I think we exchanged units. I think we're a few units apart from each other. I can't remember if we talked about that or not, but yeah, I'll take it as I get it too. Right, depends on the hunt. Depends where I'm going. Like I'm hunting a unit in New Mexico for mule deer this year, and it's a muzzleloader tag, but it's very roaded. We'll have a base camp, and then we'll probably have my truck or side by side to move around, be mobile, hit glassing points, and then we can do like 2 or 3 mile treks from the trails and the roads there. You know what I mean? And do it that way. You have to play it as it is. You can't just go, I'm only a backpack hunter, or I'm only a road hunter. You kind of work however you can get it, right? Like I'll take any tag I can get, muzzleloader, rifle, archery, however I can get it. Then I'll figure out how that unit works. And you have to really play play the cards that it deals you, right? Some units aren't conducive to backpacking. It's just not. Like in San Diego here, it's not very conducive to backpack hunting. I do backpack hunt a little bit in some areas, but mostly you can hike into everything within an hour or so. Sometimes I like to backpack in only because I don't like to wake up at 2 a.m. and drive an hour and a half to where I'm hunting. So I'll backpack in this for that reason. It's kind of nice to have that, be sleeping there, and then get out of your tent at whatever 5 a.m. and be your glassing out by 6 or whatever it is,
Absolutely.
versus having to drive. Um, where was I going with that? We're talking about different units. And then I do have a tag in Utah this year, or my son does in Utah this year, and that will be a backpack hunt. Like that hunt, that unit is conducive to backpack hunting. If I had to choose, I would rather backpack hunt every single time because it's just nice to have everything you need right there. I feel like there's something to be said about I go backpack hunting and my whole life is in a little backpack behind me right now, set up for Colorado. Or if I bring my wall tent, my truck is filled to the brim. I put everything in there, the stoves, the black stones. I mean, it's just like you just have so much crap, right? Like it's so nice to simplify your life in backpack hunt. That's why I love it so much.
Absolutely, man. And the best hunters that I know, the ones that are most successful, they, they're nimble. They shift as needed. They go, hunt different styles, different weapons, different seasons. So yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, what we should do is we should break down your kind of your backpack hunting setup because like a lot of guys don't know, right? So like I'm taking my buddy Joey with me on this hunt to Colorado, and it's going to be a hybrid. Like we're bringing canvas cutters. I have 3 canvas cutters now, so I have my filmer and Joey. We're going to be driving the roads, calling at night, sleeping in the canvas cutters at the truck, and hiking in a mile or two in the mornings. There's also a few areas that one of them is like anywhere depending on when I get there, if my truck can get anywhere I need to go, either it's 3 miles or 5 miles from the road. We're gonna backpack into that, so we're gonna be hybrid on that hunt. And Joey's never backpacked in his life, especially hunted, and he's like, "You need to come over, set me up." So I go over there, and he's got like 4 knives. I mean, Graxol boot dryer. He's got everything in the kitchen sink on his table, and I just looked at him, and I was like, okay, well, what we're gonna do is this: go get me a bin. So go get me a bin, and we just started throwing stuff in the bin that wasn't gonna go in the pack, right? Because once you've done it long enough, like I got my whole pack done with optics in there. I'm at 29 pounds right now for that elk hunt, right? 'Cause I'm sleeping with using a super tarp, and I can break down my kit, I guess, as well for that. But once you've done it enough, you really kind of learn what you need and don't need. And a lot of guys, when you first start doing it, you get sucked into this like REI, like gimmick, bring all this stuff, you need all this, and you don't need the vast majority of things. There's certain things that you do need, certain things you don't need, certain things you must have, certain things that are comfortable. And you kind of pick a kit that works for you. But my biggest thing is like I tell people is almost start with less and then add onto it rather than start with too much and then have to and then have to like have all that crap on you when you're out there. Because I guarantee you, a lot of stuff in your pack is not going to get used. And if it's not getting used, it should not be in your pack. I can tell you that my kit I have right now for elk is pretty much the same kit I run for every single hunt this year. The only thing that'll change would be shelter, possibly sleep pad, and whatever the clothes that are in my pack, right? And other than that, like everything's basically the same. I don't need to change it. Everything's there. Different size game bags for deer, right? Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess you want me to break down my pack first, or you want to break down yours, or mine's
Yeah,
fresh in my
go.
mind because I just did it.
Yeah, break down yours. Let's hear it.
So I'll give you my archery elk kit that I have here. And I actually have a cool app. There's an app called Packlight that you could get that you could put all your gear in there, your gear inventory. So you just put all your items in there. Like I have a mattress blower. This is one of my bigger ones. I have a smaller one. I put them in there. I put the poundage in there or what they weigh, the ounces, right? Like my Jet Oil Mini Mo weighs 16 ounces. A small fuel cartridge weighs 7 ounces. My first aid kit weighs 1 pound 3 ounces. And you put all that in there and you continue to add to that list, right? So, like I said, so I might want to run my standard jet oil. I don't know what those are called, whatever the standard jet oil is, the skinnier one. That's on this list, and then I go and build my pack out, and with that, I go and you go to a thing called packing list. You build a pack of those 2024 archery elk. So for this hunt, I'm going to be running the initial ascent 5000. I fell in love with that pack. Uh, I have an Everly stock I'm going to run as well this year on a few hunts because the Everly stock really is conducive to like some of my day hunts that I want to do. Um, but the initial ascent, it just stole my heart this year. Getting to wear it a couple times, it just carries weight. It fits me perfectly. I think packs are like boots. I did a backpack series with like 7 backpack companies, and every one of those packs is the best pack for somebody. But right now, I'm in love with the initial ascent. So I'm running that 5,000 initial ascent with a top lid. Not too many accessories. My backpacks, I don't run a lot of accessories in my backpacks. I don't run a lot of compartments. I don't like zippers. I like to be minimal. I don't run stuff sacks really at all. I just shove my stuff in the pack. That way it fills it up better. Um, in that, for my cooking setup, I'm running the Mini Mo on this hunt because it has the bigger bowl to it. I like to eat ramen, and it's just easier to eat ramen out of it. Um, so ramen is just nice.
Oh
Honestly,
yeah.
this hunt's gonna be like anywhere from 75 to like 85 degrees. So I'm probably not much I'm gonna be into ramen, but there's something about ramen in the middle of the day that's just good. Especially on these hot elk hunt like this, where I'm probably gonna be like just laying around from basically 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. because there's nothing's gonna be moving, including me. Um, I'm running the small fuel cartridges on this one. If I had like an 8-day hunt, I'd bring a big cartridge, just one big cartridge. It'll get me through. Honestly, a small one can get me through probably 8 days. They freaking last forever. A lot of my food that I do for breakfast, we'll talk. Well, I guess one food will do that. For dinners, I'm gonna have Peak Refuel dinners. I don't know which ones. I just pick them. I have a box of like 50 of them right now. Just buy them
They're
over
all
the year.
delicious.
They're all
Yeah.
delicious. And then I'll have for breakfast. I'll probably just use the Peak refills as well, but I'll use. I like granola. I have a bunch of their breakfasts, like the warm ones, but I'm really a big granola guy because I don't like to on a backpack style hunt. Typically, you're waking up and you're having to hike, you know, a mile from your tent to hunt. Like you shouldn't be camping on the elk necessarily or on the deer. You should be, a half mile away, something so you're not blowing into them all night. I don't like to wake up, warm up a meal, and then wait for it to hydrate and then eat it. Like that's a minimum of 30 minutes, minimum, maybe more. Um, and I don't really like to cook when I get to my glassing spot in the morning. I don't know, but if I take those ones that are granola, I just honestly just I'm using I'll talk about that in a minute. A hard side Nalgene this year. I use like a bladder style Nalgene. I'll suck some water in my mouth, spit it in that bag with the granola, shake that thing up, stir it up with my spork, Tricer spork, and then I will let it sit for like 5 minutes, eat that sucker around the mountain anytime in the morning. I don't have to, it doesn't take any work other than spitting some water in it. Um, and then for snacks, I typically will have like almonds, Fritos. Uh, I'm not really a big bar guy. I might have a couple bars in there. Um, I'll definitely have some sour stuff, like some Sour Patch Kids, because they're just nice when you're hunting to have some sugar.
Oh yeah.
I definitely will have like Baby Bell cheese. I'll definitely have the Tillamook orange cheeses from Costco. I'll leave those things in there for 10 days all day long. They start, especially on a hot, I guess they're going to start sweating, but I don't care. The cheese just stays. There's so much preservatives in it. It just stays. Um, I always have salami. That's something I started doing. Like I was on a hunt a few years ago. It was like 10 days in the Frank Church, and I just had like all processed foods. And my buddy had salami, and I was just like, he would share a little bit with me, but like I just craved his fresh food. Like, and I just wanted it. So I always have salami and cheese on my hunts now because it's just good. You can make sandwiches with it. I'll probably have some of those Sunkist tuna packets with me. I like the Sunkist tuna packets. Um, I could put bring some flatbread with me, or smashed, or you can make bagels and smash bagels down, and put that tuna packet on there. You got a nice little sandwich in the middle of the day. Those are good. I will have on a hunt like that for food. Um, I like the Celsius powder packs, honestly. Like it's like $15 for like 12 of them. But dude, they taste. It says 16 ounces. I do it 32 ounces with one of them, and they're probably one of the best tasting drinks I've had out there. And they have 200 milligrams of caffeine in them. They're pretty awesome. Um, and it forces me to drink some water. I'll have some liquid IVs. I always have liquid IVs because if it's hot and I'm just putting a lot of miles in, I mean, you're going to be sweating through your hat, your pants. You're just going to be it's sweaty balls, man. It's 85 degrees. It's hot. You're climbing mountains. You're wearing merino socks, and I wear leather boots. Like you're just going to be sweating. You need salt. I don't do any kind of salt tablets or anything like that, but liquid IVs are good. Those elements are pretty good too. Um, I probably won't have any mountain op stuff. I could have some on there. I kind of like their BCAA stuff as well. But if I have the liquid IVs and the Celsius, that's all I really need. Something I'm trying this year. I don't dip or smoke or anything, but my kid got these like LFGO like dip packs, but all they are is caffeine, and you throw it in your lip like a lipper, like just like a Zen, and there's 200 milligrams of caffeine in that thing. You just let it sit in your lip for like an hour, and you get 200 milligrams of caffeine.
I've heard
And
of those things. Yeah.
dude, and it like at first I was like upset with my kid 'cause he's 17, he bought them. I'm like, I don't want you to have like even mess the illusion of doing that. You know what I mean? But then
Yeah.
I was like, threw one in this weekend, and I was like, oh wow, these are cool. So I stole them from him. I put them in my pack because he hasn't really been using them. Um, and I'm gonna try those out because they're pretty cool, and they honestly make a lot of saliva too. So you're kind of like forced. You just swallow it. You don't spit it. So you're swallowing. So it kind of forces you to kind of feel like your mouth's a little satiated, which I like that. Um, that's probably it for food. I don't know. There'll be some other snacks in there. I'm sure I'll grab some stuff, but I'm pretty basic on my food. Back to my list here. Cool thing is on this thing too is you have like cooking, first aid, you have everything there. First aid kit. I've got a first aid kit. I used to just carry like a Ziploc bag with like band-aids and some tape in it. And then I went to the Western Hunting Summit this year, and I felt like a terrible father because he's just showing me all these pictures and all this stuff. So my first aid kit now weighs 1 pound 3 ounces, which is barely anything, but I pretty much have everything I need there to handle saving my life if I have to. And if I can't, I'm hitting the button anyways. At that point, it doesn't matter. I've got in that kit. I've got a tourniquet now. Never had one of those. I always figured I'd tie a belt or something. I've got like a syringe just to squirt the dirt out of the wounds. I have these things that are pretty cool. They're like a zip tie style butterfly patch. I don't know if you've seen those. So
Hmm.
you can put it on both sides and you pull the zip tie and it'll actually close your wound. Especially when you're messing around with freaking Havalons and stuff, dude, and you're tired, you're doing an elk. It's so easy to get cut. It's so easy to cut your friend or your kid, whatever, because you're in there, you're holding it, you're talking, and you're not paying attention. You're throwing meat, and it's so easy to get cut, man. If you haven't been poked while you're doing an elk, like I don't know who hasn't done that. So I got those things just in case. I've never had anything terrible in the backcountry happen when it comes to cuts, but I did fillet my wrist open doing a deer in my yard one time. Um, I was my friend shot a deer, and I was like, bring it to my house. We'll clean it out of my whole junior hiker beer from church. And we had like 20 kids running around. I'm talking to him, and I'm trying to train him, his father-in-law, and his like uncle how to like clean a deer and do it. And like I go, and I had just sharpened like his fixed blade knife, and I went to like I was like, hold this. I went to cut it, went right through, right into my wrist, and it was like through an artery, just spraying blood everywhere. Um, I ended up taping it up because I was so pissed off. Like, and my buddy taped it up like super tight, so like my hand went purple. Finished the deer, drove to the hospital. I had pictures. You can see the artery and everything. It's pretty gnarly. But if that would happen in the backcountry, I mean, no matter what, I'm probably have to come out from that kind of cut. It was a good cut because it was one of those ones where like you'd actually every time your heart beat it would just spray blood. It was gnarly. Um, but with those zip tie things, I can actually get that thing closed up really good and be able to tape it up and get out of there and not be, in trouble, right? Like something like that was like, it was one of those ones where you're like, yep, I have to get stitches right now. But some of these other cuts, I probably wouldn't come out. I have a pretty good tendency just to stay out from things and cut. I don't really care. But now I have more than duct tape, which is nice. Um, I'll have some like diarrhea medicine in there. I always have some like stomach stuff in there. I love Tylenol PMs. I buy the package of that stuff, so I'll buy Tylenol PMs because like that and Motrin will be in my pack always because I just get sore. You're hiking around doing that stuff. Your muscles get sore, your knees get sore, your hips get sore. But I take two of those Tylenol PMs at night, and it really helps you go to sleep, and it kind of works on anti-inflammatory, right? Because
Absolutely.
it's so I run those in there. That's my first aid kit in a nutshell. I mean, there's some other stuff in there, I'm sure. Oh, I got a mouth to mouth thing now, which I kind of don't really care to. I mean, I'll use it, I guess, but honestly, if I'm out with you, Hunter, and you go down and probably give you mouth to mouth, I don't even care. I'm not putting a barrier on, but I'm just saving your life. We'll figure it out in the end. If you give me
Yep.
some disease, we'll talk about it afterwards. Um, Hydration on this hunt. I've got a 32-ounce Tricer Nalgene. I always have one 32-ouncer in there just so I can mix my drinks, do stuff like that, have it in the tent with me at night. I like having Nalgenes. But I am like, especially on hot hunts, like I do love bladders, but at the same time, I hate when bladders fail. Um, so I bought a hard side this year from Go Hunt and actually got to meet the owner of hard side a couple times this year, talk to him too. super cool company. So I have a 48 ounce Nalgene hard side Nalgene, which is basically a Nalgene with a tube built into it. So it's like a bladder in an Nalgene. So now you don't. It's like the best of both worlds. I can put it on the side of my pack. I don't have to have it inside of my pack. So I have it like in my little pocket on the side, right? Like everyone has little, those little elastic pockets on the side. So that's right there on the side of it. 48 ounces of water. Um, so between those two, it's not as much water as I like to carry. I like to have three liters, which would be about 110, 120 ounces of water. But I'll have 80 ounces of water, and hopefully there's enough water out there. If needed, I'll throw another Nalgene in my pack. Again, this is like one of those hunts where I'll have more Nalgenes in the truck, but in my pack will be those two Nalgenes. I'll have an MSR gravity filter. It weighs 1 pound. It's heavier than most. I get it. But again, this is where I tell you, like I have the pumps as well, the little 8 or 12 ounce pumps. You got to pick what's comfortable for you, what's nice for you. And those gravity filters, when you got to do a bunch of water, are awesome. I'll have a 6-liter Dramamine bag with me, which is basically an MSR bag that you can put water in. And with that gravity filter, you hook right up to it. You fill 10 liters of water in that thing, go away for 10 or 15 minutes, come back, and that bag is completely filled with purified water. My partners will also have a 6-liter and a 4-liter, so we'll fill theirs up as well. So you go put, instead of having to pump water for a freaking hour and sit there and I don't want to say jerking off or whatever. You're just like, you know what I mean? This stupid
Yeah.
thing. And you're trying to keep the hose in the water. You're putting rocks on it to keep it under the stream. It's floating everywhere. Like, dude, that gravity filter is just freaking rad, man. You do have to be careful not to use too dirty of water because I had to filter like a cattle drinker last year. And it was pretty gross.
Oh man.
It kept clogging on me, but it was only water back there. So whatever.
Yeah, that's
Um,
brutal.
so yeah, you have to make sure you back flush it a little bit to make it work, but it works good. So that's my water setup. MSR gravity, Dramamine, the hard side 48 ounce Nalgene and the 32 ounce Nalgene. And that hard side will work with any Nalgene as well. You can like cut the tube and run it on your 48 ounce or your 32 ounce as well. It works with any Nalgene out there. Hygiene, really, I just have dude wipes. That's it. Got some dude wipes in there. I always have dude wipes. Freaking great for the butthole and great for washing yourself at night. There's nothing feels better than that. On a longer hunt, I'll have some like Dr. B's in there. I'll take like a little shower in like a creek or something, But on this hunt, I'll just have that in the truck. So I can just do I have like a sponge bath shower thing in the truck that I can run that warms the water up and everything. It's kind of cool. But in my pack will just be wipes. That's it. And then I'll have like a roll of, I use like these little rolls of toilet paper like this right here. I don't know if you ever used those before. They're dude, it's like $2 at Walmart. You buy these things. It's a roll of toilet paper with no tube in the middle. And one of these things lasts, it's just 75 sheets of toilet paper, 300 inches. Dude, this thing will last you like almost all season, especially if you're mixing dude wipes in. They're awesome. They weigh, I'll tell you what it weighs right now, actually. Oh, you know what? I can't tell you what it weighs. I think it's in my red bag kit. Yeah, it's not in there. I don't know. It doesn't weigh anything. 2.3 ounces or something like that. 2 ounces. You got a whole roll of toilet paper with no tube instead of putting it into a bag and having the big square bag all bunched up on you. And you can actually leave it in here and pull it out and tear it off.
That's legit.
So that's my hygiene: toilet paper and dude wipes. If I can't deal with that, is what you're gonna smell. I mean, get over it. Like you're gonna smell. I bring like maybe one extra pair of underwear, one extra pair of socks. That's it. I'll bring extra pants. I don't bring extra shirts really. I just smell. That's how I do it. Clothes waste, everything adds up. Lighting, I have 2 black diamond headlamps. They weigh 2.1 ounces each. I always have 2 headlamps in my pack no matter what, because if you lose one, can't find one, something breaks, this extra headlamp is great to have. I always have 2 of them. I don't use rechargeable headlamps. I just freaking use batteries. I don't know. I don't use crazy battery ones either. I use ones use AAAs. I keep like 6 AAAs in my bag, and I can fix them up whenever I need to. I have a blow-up lantern as well. It weighs 2.8 ounces as well. I don't know if they sell them at Walmart, like $15. It's just like, it looks like an accordion. They smash down. They're solar. I always have one in my pack. They don't really last long. You might get a season or 2 out of them. I'm going to get 2 seasons out of this one, it looks like, until it breaks. But they weigh nothing. I'll blow it up and I'll hang it on my tent. That way I have like a light in my tent versus a headlamp, like something up on top. They weigh nothing. I highly recommend them. It's a stupid piece of gear that costs $15. Buy one. Um, some miscellaneous stuff I have in there, kind of like my kill kit type stuff. Like we can do, we'll call it the kill kit. Um, Paracord. I have 100 foot of paracord no matter what in my pack. 50 foot is not enough, especially when you're hanging elk. Uh, it takes like at least 30 foot to hang a quarter in a tree. So you'll run out of cord really quick. I find 100 feet kind of gets me to where I need to go. Plus, paracord is just so useful in so many ways. If you got to tie a quarter to your backpack for some reason, or your straps aren't there, or just you can use paracord for so much stuff. Guy lines for your tarps, for your tents, fixing things, freaking make a belt out of it for your pants. Your pants are falling off. I don't know. Fix a backpack strap. You can do it with paracord. And I always have like gaff tape as well, so I can make it work with that. I have 4 carabiners in my pack. I love carabiners. I use those for hanging quarters, hanging food, doing all that stuff. Um, they're pretty nice. I might actually cut that back. 4 is kind of a lot. I might cut that back to 2 or 3. We'll see. Again, they don't weigh anything. I have a stealthy glassing pad on my pack. I burned that this year. It's pretty durable. It weighs 6.8 ounces. I like Ryan a lot. It's a cool glassing pad. Does everything I need to do. I have something I call the red bag. It's the outdoor research backcountry something or another. They don't make them anymore. Renelli's talk about all the time. I bought one. It must have been 8 or 10 years ago. Always a red bag, has some zippers in it. I keep everything in that bag. That bag has my Havlon in it. It has my multi-tool in it, which I use like the expensive multi-tool, like the $120 Leatherman Wave, I think it is, because it's heavy, but it's so worth it because it has all the tools I need. I have the toolkit for it with all the Allens, everything. So rifle scope gets loose, something goes wrong, I have it right there. It has a saw. I think multi-tools are pointless. They don't have saws on them. So multi-tools has a saw on it. So I need to saw a branch down. I have that right there. I can do that with it. It's just a great tool. Multi-tool is a must in your pack, especially if you're hunting desert stuff, dude. I get cactus in my butt all the time. You need to use a multi-tool for that. It's great to have around. It's in my bag. The red bag also has batteries in it, also has zip ties in it. It has some electrical tape. It's got 2 lighters in it. It's got, it's off the top of my head, this is the same stuff. This stuff never leaves my pack. It's got an extra chapstick in there. Always have 2 chapsticks. I have a chapstick in my bino harness, chapstick in there because my lips just get chapped, and there's nothing worse than that. My tags are in there. My license is in there. Everything is in that red bag. It's kind of like it's almost like the junk drawer of my pack. Like, you have a junk drawer in your house. That's my red bag. A red bag. I have my toothbrushes in there. Like when I get in my tent, my spork is in there. That's what comes into with me. Like I pull that out, and everything I need to sleep is in that bag. Like I don't need to get out. I don't need to. I don't want things in my pack all over the place and zippers. Like that's like my almost like your toiletries bag when you go to like a hotel. Like that's what I bring into the bathroom. This is what I bring into the tent with me to do everything I need to do. Everything's there that I need to make it through the night. That's the red bag. They make some. My buddy's got a QU one. I saw it last night. It's like $40. You can buy one of those. Like, highly recommend having some sort of just like a random bag for your crap. It's nice. I also have fire starters in there. My own fire starters, those are in there. Yeah. Shelter for this hunt. I'm going to have my Kafaru Super Tarp with stakes. It weighs 1.9 ounces. I can fit 2 people in there. I'll probably put me and my cameraman in there. I'll have a little ground tarp with it. I guess I'll be under my sleep system. But that's all I'm gonna run. Super tarp. No, I have like the out thing for it. I'm not gonna run that. Cool thing about super tarp is it can be a shelter, and it also can be a tarp. So I can run it over you. I don't go anywhere without a tarp, especially when I'm going to high altitude places like this. We're gonna be up around, I don't know if you consider it high, but anywhere from 8 to 12,000 feet on this hunt. We are going to get rained on. Like 100%, we will get rained on at some point in these 10 to 14 days that we're over there. I want to have a tarp to put it under me because there's honestly, rain gear is great, but sitting in the rain in rain gear sucks. You're gonna get wet. It's gonna get down in your shirt. It just sucks. So yeah, so I always have that on me. So the super tarp will be on this hunt. I have another tarp that I run. So like basically the same weight. The super tarp's not that heavy, man. Or that probably make my pack almost every hunt this year, even if I have a tent in there. Um, I also have that Seek Outside Twilight as well. If it's 3 people, that'll be in my truck, and I could possibly switch to that if it's like we could switch to that, have all 3 of us sleep in that thing. I just figured we'd bring. I'm gonna bring the super tarp. My buddy's gonna bring it. I gave him one of my tarps to run. Just standard tarps. It's easy. They're quicker to set up. That's kind of why I want to do it. I want to be mobile on this hunt. I want to be able to find the elk, pitch a tarp. Super tarp takes 2 trekking poles and maybe 6 stakes or something. It's just set up. Some guy lines are everything. I have all my guy lines tied off. I've installed the guy lines myself. I had to go buy the strings for it. It doesn't come with some of the strings, which is kind of weird, but whatever. Um, and I can just set it up really quick. I have that thing set up in probably 5 minutes versus my hot tent, which is basically a TP. There's a lot more stakes involved, a lot more work involved in it. It might take me 15 minutes. I don't want to deal with that. So um, I will be running that tent on my um, use on hunt this year, though, my Seek Outside Twilight, because that will have a cameraman on it. It'll be me and my kid. So we'll all use that thing. Um, so
That's awesome.
that's my shelter. That Kafara Super Tarp is rad. It weighs nothing, and it is a giant shelter for what it is. You can put 2 dudes in there all day long. It's awesome. Um, Sleep system. I did have some Tyvek tarps, but I tried to put them in my dryer to like get them not to be crinkly, and I melted them today. So I don't have any Tyvek tarps unless I can find someone else who has Tyvek around because I'm not buying $80 roll. So I'll just use like these little like I have these like little tarps that I buy. They're like 3 foot. I recommend any kind of tarp being at least 3 foot wide. If you try and go with like a narrow like 2 footer, you're gonna get super dirty. Your pad's gonna be in the dirt. Your sleep bag's gonna be in the dirt. So I run a 3 foot by like 7 foot tarp on the ground. I am getting older, not necessarily really old, but I'm 38 now, and I am really liking the Thermarest NeoAir Topo Lux. It's basically like a 30-inch wide or something, or 24-inch wide by 4-inch thick, just bitchin' pad. I don't run anything except for Thermarest on my pads. I have a Thermarest X-Therm that I probably have 8 years on now, plus. Never had an issue with it. I have a Thermarest NeoAir, the yellow one, the mummy style. I have that one as well. I just, for me, like, which the NeoAir weighs less than this. I think the NeoAir is like 12 ounces or something like that. Like, I'm definitely picking up an extra, not necessarily a pound, but definitely an extra 10 ounces probably with this other pad. And it is taking more space in my pack. But, dude, like, if you have to sleep on something for days on end, it's so nice sleeping on this thick one. It just feels like a bed from home. It's awesome. So it's one of the things where you have to just make a decision. And I am really light in other places. So like I use on this one, I'm using an inflate pillow to Trekology from Amazon. It says 0.3 ounces. That's not right. I think it's 2.3 ounces. So you just fix that. I think it's 2.3 ounces. It's basically a Cedar Summit. That's an Amazon brand. I have a Cedar Summit too somewhere. I just can't find it right now. So I have these other ones that are my kids. I'm gonna run theirs because I don't buy my kids the nicest stuff all the time. So I'm running theirs on this hunt. And then I am running on this hunt my Enlightened Equipment 10-degree quilt. And you might be like, 10 degrees is really cold, a really cold weather quilt. It is, but I don't have a 30-degree quilt. And the cool thing about a quilt is you kick your feet out and be fine with it. I'm not running a hot pad, so I'll be cool that way. And honestly, you can just run it with a quilt. I find from that thing pretty much any temperature out there. I'm fine. Sleep in my underwear and just freaking crack a thing over and you're golden. It gets to get into like the 40s at night anyways, so 10 degrees really isn't that hot. So it'll be a good quilt. Honestly, I'd rather be a little warmer than cold. I do have like
Absolutely.
I do have a 50-degree bag. All my suffer quilts, I don't run bags at all anymore. I have a 50-degree and I have a 20-degree, but the 20 degrees is like a regular length, and I like a long one because I like to like get myself underneath it. So they're all Enlightened Equipment. I love Enlightened Equipment. I'll probably buy a 30-degree down quilt for them at some point. But that quilt only weighs 24 ounces. Was 1 pound, 8 ounces. So again, like I said, like, oh, my pad's a little bit heavier. Well, yes, it is, but my sleeping bag weighs probably 2 pounds less than anyone else's sleeping bag. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
and it's so warm. Why do I run quilts? Because I spin a lot when I sleep. I go to my stomach, go to my side, just spin all night, and I sleep in a mummy bag. It twists me up. I hate it. I don't like it. I went to a quilt. It had to have been like 2017 or 18. I don't know when I did it. I've used this same quilt forever. It's just held up, and I love it. I'll never go back to sleeping bag. It can get a little drafty sometimes, especially using a tarp like I'm going to be doing on this hunt. I don't really use. I have this bungee cords for it to strap it underneath you. I don't really use them that often, but if it's going to be really windy, I'll use the bungee cords. If it's really cold, so I can bungee underneath me under my pad. But mostly I don't do that because again, I don't like to be tied down to anything. Um, that's my sleep system. Um, Optics on this hunt. I'm going to be running. I'm kind of debating. I have the Sig Zulu sixes, the 16 power ones, but dude, I also have my Swarovski EO range um, eights, which are just so clear. They're just heavy, man, and I don't use it for range finding for archery because they're just harder. They don't really do great under 50 yards, honestly. Um, so I'm running probably probably my EO ranges because they're just so clear. Like I was just on a hunt in Hawaii and it's thick brush, and you can just see, even though they're not stabilized, they're only eights, they're pretty dang stable. You can just like see through thick forest with those Swarovskis. I don't know. I'm a snob. I like Swaro. Um, I'm going to bring a spotter on this hunt. It's going to be the Kawa 554. It's like a 1 to 45, 60 millimeter spotter. It's a phenomenal spotter. I'll have that with me. That's my optics. I'll have a Tricer AD and LP on this hunt with me. It's all I need. I tell people all the time, what tripod should I get? Like literally, you're probably get away with the Tricer AD and LP. It's all you really need to do the vast majority of your hunts. Only time I'm going to switch over to a BP is I'm running my big BTX, which I'll be running like my desert hunts, my New Mexico hunts, stuff like that. Um, Possibly on my kid, I possibly will pack it on my kid's hunt, honestly, because he's going to be carrying the rifle, so I'll have that weight savings for me. So I'll pack a BTX with me on that. That's when I want to run the bigger BP panhead. For what I'm running with these small optics, I only need is the LP. It's lightweight. If I had to pick one tripod run for my life, it'd be that setup right there. I can get away with it with everything. You really don't have to run a BTX. And the BP is good. If you're a guy that runs 85 millimeter spotters, 90 millimeter spotters, you want the BP. The LP will handle 85. It's kind of like the max right there. It's not going to be the greatest at it. It'll do it. For most guys, if you are going to be glassing with your binos 90% of the time and using your spotter to check animals, the LP is perfect for that for 85 millimeter. It's fine. But if you're like, I want to run my spotter all day long, which I don't know many guys who do, you probably want the BP for that. Oh, sleep system. I also have a flex tail pump. It weighs 3.7 ounces. It's like a little tiny pump. I thought it was lame until I heard Remy Moore talk about how awesome they are. And then I bought one, and then I realized, oh man, after a long day of hiking, um, not blowing up, especially that 4-inch pad. Like that 4-inch pad, it takes a long time to blow up by mouth. Um, that flexed up pump is rad, and I don't like those stupid bags they come with where you can like fill with air and like put. I just blow them up my mouth. Like honestly, like my my Xtherm probably like if it finally goes out, I'm gonna cut it open and like take pictures for everybody. It has to look like a science experiment. I've been blowing that thing for I've been blowing that thing for a long time. I don't even know if it's ever gonna break. It's things bulletproof. That Xtherm is just anything anytime I'm hunting anything less than like probably 30 degrees, that's the pad I'm gonna run because it's just so warm. It's hot. Pads are everything too. If you're going on a hunt and you're going to be in cold weather, like the pad is so much more important than the sleeping bag. Like get a cheaper bag, get a better pad. Um, that's that setup. I'll also have on my pack this year. I'm wearing that Shield Arms knife. It's like I don't know what they call it. It's almost like their Skinner knife. I actually killed like 6 pigs with it last week in Hawaii. It's got like some flex to it, almost like a fillet knife, but not as much flex. Like it's really good for like especially on an elk. Like I'll use a Havilon a lot, but like when you're deboning, it's so nice to have a longer fixed blade knife to debone an elk because it's so easier to like to get the muscle groups, pull them apart. Fixed blades are nice. Cutting around bones, it's nice. Cutting around like Back straps on an elk, like using a Havalon, you could do it. But it's almost like two cuts, where if you use that fixed blade, it's all the way down, right around the spine, down into the rib cage. Slide the sucker down. It's good. Um, I'm not the best at sharpening knives. That's why I like Havalons, because it's just nice to just put a new blade on, not to worry about sharpening, especially when you're all covered in blood. I do wish that knife, and I've told Shield this, was orange. I got like a red color. It's like a dirt red though. They make like basically it's brown. It's like a brown red. They make a black, and like I want all my knives to be orange all the time because I'm a train wreck and I put it down. And again, you get 45 minutes into an animal and things just start falling apart. Where'd my knife go? Where's this? There's parts everywhere. There's hide everywhere. Um, that's just me. Um, I'll have a 20-liter dry bag in there, weighs 2.4 ounces uh, in my pack, just so I could like take things out of my backpack and put it into that in camp, like food and stuff hanging from a tree. I'm gonna eat my bears. I'll have my Tricer elk bags. I'm actually running 4 elk bags and 1 deer bag. It weighs 1.8 ounces all in. Those things are pretty awesome, man. They're freaking built like a tank. They're definitely the lightest out there. I know that, but they don't rip. And I want bags that when I hang them from a tree, they're not going to rip. So that's
Absolutely.
what I built them for. The last item I have in there is my InReach Explorer Plus. I hopefully in the next 2 years I won't need that anymore. Hopefully we'll have Starlink going, and I won't need to have any more InReaches. Big things are coming in the industry for all of us hunters because we're not going to need to run an InReach anymore. Our Garmin's is going to be all on your phone. I'm excited for that. That's all my stuff, dude. Like my gear, clothes wise for this hunt, I always have rain gear in my pack. I'm running. I don't know the names of this stuff, dude. Like I'm terrible at that. I'm gonna be running like the First Light's ultralight rain gear. It's not super thick. I just like it. I find like I have some thicker stuff, but unless you're gonna be like in torrential rain for like days on end, you don't need it. I'll have a pair of Kenetrek Gators probably in my pack. Those probably in the truck. It depends. Like if I know it's gonna be weather, I'll bring the Gators. If I know it's not gonna be weather, I won't bring the Gators. Like I don't know. I'm not the biggest Gator guy, but they do help a lot when like you're never gonna see me like if you're one of the guys listening to this and you're at TAC wearing your Gators, like you're a dork. Like if you're out and it's 75 degrees, you're wearing Gators, you're a dork. Like don't do it. Like you don't need them. Like it makes you hot. It's just you don't need Gators all the time. I'll have a pair of Crocs in there probably. I like having Crocs, especially around camp. What else am I gonna have? I'll have a merino t-shirt on. I'll have like an ex officio underwear. I wear those. I'm wearing the same underwear forever. Um, Pants. I'll probably run like the de Havilland pants from Stone Glacier. They have the big zipper on the side. I have some of these new pants from First Light, the 308s. They're a little thicker, so I don't know. I might try those out. I just feel like they're going to be hot. I have some ultra light pants from First Light, like they're super light ones. I just found with light pants, like you're just going to tear them and rip them. I don't like to wear gear that's going to rip. So wear a little warmer pant, I guess. None of them are warm weather pants that I'm bringing. I'll probably wear those 308s and those de Havillands. Pick one, bring it in. I'll have no base layers. I don't need them. No thermal pants. I'm not gonna need them on this hunt. I'll have probably 20 gave me one of their merino like long sleeves. It's like a 250 merino, and I'm in love with it. Like it's the best piece of merino I've ever wore. It's a little hoodie merino long sleeve from 20 Gear. I don't know what they cost. I think like $100 or something, but it's like of all the merino I've ever worn, and I've got merino from Stone, First Light, not Stone, First Light, Kuyu, um, Mary Wool, stuff on the backpack and stuff. Like this is by far my favorite merino that I've had. I'll have probably like I have like a hybrid Sitka. It's like a puffy slash hardshell type jacket. I'll probably have one of those in there. That's it. So it's basically a shirt, a long sleeve 250, and then like one jacket of some sort in there that'll keep me warm at night. So if it gets down to 40, I can be warm. Nothing more than that. I don't need to bring a big puffy or anything. It's not going to be cold enough to need it. And gear weight stuff. So I'll probably add a couple more pounds in my pack. All in, the gear I gave you, I'm at like 29 pounds even right now without the couple clothes items. So I'll probably be at like 31 pounds before water and food. So throw my bow in there, throw some food in there. I'll be under 50 pounds, which is pretty much the goal. Right? I'll throw a camera in there. I'll probably be right at 50 pounds. I can run around 50 pounds on my back all day long. It's not the funnest, but honestly, if you do set up your camp, you could leave it. One thing on this hunt I will do is if I am backpacking, I will, or even if I'm just truck hunting, I'll have my sleeping bag and my pad in my pack because a lot of times like you'll get on elk and you don't want to leave, and if it's good weather, I'll just sleep out under the stars. But when you do that, even in 40 degrees with no sleeping bag, it sucks. And I've done it so many times because I'm too stubborn to hike back to the truck because I on elk. So that'll be in there. But dude, that's my kit. That's my kit for elk, and that doesn't really change throughout the year for anything. Shelters change a little bit. Clothes change definitely on hunts. I'll run the Darn Tough socks. I've run those forever. I'll run the Kenetrek hard scrabbles on this hunt. The leather boots. They just fit me best. The boots I like, and that's me, man. A hat, and let's go hunting.
That's awesome, man. That's a solid gear list down to the ounce. I like it.
Down to the ounce, dude. that app is freaking rad. Dude. If you don't use that app, like definitely do it. 'Cause you can really just like make your kit. And plus, it reminds you what you need, right? Like you could be like, oh, wait a minute, I missed this off my kit. Why is that in here? Because so much stuff is just it transcends every hunt, right? It's not just that one hunt. It goes across to every hunt I go on this year. Even if I'm not backpacking, a lot of stuff's in my pack.
What's that app called one more time for everybody?
Oh, dude, that app is called Packlight. It's free.
Packlight.
It's free on. I'll actually send it to you right now so I can text you. Share app. Message Hunter. There. I'll send it to you right now so you can use it. Yeah, Packlight app. I do think it'd be rad to make a hunting version with a couple different categories in there for like, cause like obviously these are made for granola eaters. So it doesn't have a category for like optics or tripods or kill kit or so you kind of start everything in miscellaneous. But it'd be nice if they added some stuff on there for us who are actually men. But whatever.
Yeah.
So dude, that's my backpacking kit. What are you running? How are you doing it? I'm sorry to take over the podcast, but
No, dude.
what do you look like on one of your what do you got an October mule deer hunt? What's that pack gonna look like for you?
Yeah, it's very similar to Drew's. Very, very similar to yours, man. I mean, I start from the ground up. That's how I always build my system. So I start with my boots. I've been running crispy boots for the last 7 or 8 years. I've got, I don't know, 8 or 9 pairs of them. Depending on the hunt, I always have cold feet, so I'm going to run an insulated pair. In October, I usually either run the guides, which are a 200-gram insulation, or I will run the Wild Rocks, which are a 400-gram insulation.
Really?
The Wild Rocks always go to Colorado with me. Anytime there's snow on the ground, I always get cold feet. So
Yeah, I'll run my 400 Kenetreks in Colorado in the snow, but I almost never run insulated boots. My feet
yeah,
sweat. I almost never run them. I like to run non-insulated boots, so that's surprising to me.
yeah. My first insulated or non-insulated pair of boots I actually bought 2 years ago when I moved down to southern Utah. Other than that, even in archery season, I would run an insulated pair of boots, which is totally crazy to some people. But like I said, I have really bad circulation, and my feet and my hands are always cold. And it's not because of the gear that I'm covering them up with. I run solid boots, I run solid gloves, but I always get cold. So that's what I start with. Man, I kind of mix and match a lot of gear. I've ran Stone Glacier, Sitka, Kuiu, First Light. So my clothing layers, I've got a closet full of everything. I usually
Same for
try and
me.
mix and match, but I have either merinos when it's hotter, just to keep the scent down. But I actually like running synthetic base layers when it's a little bit colder. So my favorite synthetic piece of all time is the Stone Glacier Avro synthetic. It's like a 3/4 zip, super light. It's more like a sun shirt, but dude, it's amazing.
Nice.
So I'll run that as my base layer, and then as it gets colder, I'll obviously layer with down and merinos and different things like that. But favorite pair of pants, love the Stone Glacier de Havilland pants. Like I said, with that full length zipper that you can just basically dump heat at any time. You're going on a brutal couple thousand vert climb in the morning or whatever, dump that heat really quick when you go to sit down so you're not freezing. So yeah, October, I always have down pants and a down jacket in my pack. Sometimes they don't come out, but you never know when you get in the high country in the late season, especially, weather can come in and it just gets nasty in a hurry. So I don't always run rain gear. In October, I'll usually have like a waterproof jacket of some sort, but most of the time I'm running gaiters and just like a waterproof jacket if it gets crazy. But obviously September is totally different. So I run rain gear in my pack all the time in September, but not in October. My pack, what goes in my pack depends on if I'm.
What kind of pack is it?
Yeah, so I run an EXO K4 5000. That's like my backpacking pack. I also have the 2200 bag that I love running on just like day hunts. So that's awesome. But I've been running EXO for 6 or 7 years. I had the
Same
K2,
here.
K3, K4. K4 is awesome. They've made some massive improvements. But all in all, yeah, it's been a good pack for me. I also have a Stone Glacier pack, and that's been a solid frame, solid pack too. So, but yeah, backpack style hunts, a lot like you. Always obviously got my med kit, my kill kit. I always run, just breaking it down, I always run a replaceable blade knife as well as a fixed blade knife. One of my good friends, Travis Nowotny with Goat Knives, he actually makes some super solid knives that have like a little drive bit in them that you can actually fix like your scopes and stuff. They're awesome. So I usually carry one of those in my pack. And then I also have another buddy that makes some solid blades, fixed blades. And he has a company called Gamble Knives. And he actually made me these custom like blaze orange knives, because I'm like you, I'll set them down after gutting an elk or caping out something, and I'm just like, where'd my knife go? But if it's blaze orange sitting on a hillside, it's pretty easy to find. So I'm a big blaze guy. I do run stuff sacks, but I don't get carried away with it. I'll run, one for a kill kit. I'll throw my med kit, which is in like a little zipper pack. Hopefully that med kit never has to come out, but it's got all the things: tourniquet, splint, bandages, gauze, all the things.
I have blood clot in mine as well. I mentioned. Do you use like blood clot stuff in there just in case?
Yeah, quick clot is what I use.
Yeah, that's what I have. Same thing. Yeah.
Yep, I run that in there. Bunch of different tapes, and I also do super glue. I like super glue for cuts and different things like that. It's magic, man. It's like, run a couple things of super glue over your cuts. Usually does pretty good. But other than that, I have a couple of different tapes, obviously med tapes, but I also do like electrical tape for fixing tent poles or fixing trekking poles or different things like that if something were to break. I think that's one of the big things that when I first got into backpacking, I didn't really realize, I didn't really prepare for, I should say, is I didn't prepare for the worst. And anything can happen in the backcountry when you're, 6, 7, even 2, 3 miles in. It's an inconvenience to have to hike back out. So anything that you can, fix your gear with while you're out there, I usually try to think about it and pack it in my pack. Yeah, I mean, I always carry like a little, I guess, bathroom bag, if you will, with a toothbrush and a little toothpaste. I also like to keep a little bit of floss in there. I know it's annoying, but there's nothing more annoying than like something in your teeth. Like I eat a lot of jerky, so I always get jerky in my teeth. But but yeah, it's pretty simple. Like I said, I'm a lot like you, man. Really, the only thing that changes is either my sleep system a little bit, depending on the bag. I've been running the Stone Glacier 0 degree whatever their bag is called. It's their down 0 degree, the chill coot, I think it is.
Yeah, the
So I
showcase.
run
Yeah.
that bag. And then I also run the Thermarest X-Therm on all of my late season hunts. The X-Therm is, like I said, anything Thermarest is bomb proof and awesome, but the X-Therm goes with me
It's
on.
just freaking noisy, dude. It's like
It is noisy.
mine's gotten better over the years, but it's the Xterm has like foil in it. If no one's ever read it,
Yep.
so if you're around, it's like you can hear
It
it.
it is noisy for sure. Yeah,
But I
that's one
love it.
thing about
It's like just
that.
radiates heat like nothing other.
Yeah,
It's a rad
super
pet.
warm. So I run that. I also work with those guys over at Seek, like Ryan Sapina and those guys. They're legit. So I have a bunch of different Seek shelters, but I ran the Sunlight on my hunt, on my Wyoming deer hunt last year. I also have a couple different hot tents. The Cimarron's great for like 2 guys in gear. I also have the Red Cliff. Yeah, I run a bunch of their tents. They're awesome. One thing that I just actually started doing is carrying a tarp. I know you mentioned yours, but I've never really been a big tarp guy, but I just got the Stone Glacier Sky Tarp 10. It's
Mhm.
like a huge tarp. It's got all the guy lines and everything. It's legit. It can either be, a shelter for 2 guys, or we actually were camping this summer, doing a little scouting on a Utah elk unit, limited entry, and we just got torrential downpours in the afternoons for some reason. It would just be like sunny and blue skies and then pour just for like 10 minutes. So we'd throw that up and just keep like 10 of us dry underneath it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'll
So
probably always have a tarp in my bag.
on the tarp thing too, if anyone's listening to this, you don't have to go buy like the super tarp is like $400. I think that Stone Glacier is like 250 or something, right?
Yeah, something like
300.
that.
Like I bought like probably my favorite tarp is an REI quarter dome, and I'm bringing it on this hunt. My buddy's running it. I think it's like less than it might be $100. It only weighs like 12 ounces. It's a phenomenal tarp because not all tarps are created equally. A lot of tarps are really heavy. Like you on Amazon, it's gonna be heavy. But the REI quarter dome tarp is just a super lightweight, really packable tarp with guy lines, everything on it. Um, a lot of times I'll use sticks to stick it up, or a couple trekking poles, and just run it back and tie it off. And I throw like 6 stakes in there with that thing, and you can pretty much do everything you need to do with it. So check out, if you're listening to this, check out the REI quarter dome tarp.
Heck yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm running there. Game bags, I'm running the Go Hunt game bags. I always keep like some Z cord or Z line. I don't usually use paracord, just because from what I've seen is, unless you get something like slick, that paracord, when you're trying to hang quarters and stuff, sometimes it gets snagged. So I usually run like a Z line or Z cord.
What is
It's
that? What
basically
is
the
the
same
line?
thing. It's basically the same thing. It's just more like it's really thin, and
Okay.
it's
Oh, it
bomb
is.
proof. Yeah, it's just a little bit, I guess, thinner and more durable as far as getting snags and stuff like that. More snag proof. It's more like the stuff you'd see on like your guy lines and stuff.
On
The
your
really
tent. Yeah, I
thin.
bought
Yeah,
some of that for that's what I used on that Cafaro tarp when I had to add some lines to it, and that's what I used was that stuff.
yeah,
So I would buy. It's expensive. It's a lot more money than like I bought these things at Home Depot yesterday. 50-foot rolls of paracord for $5. I think that Z line's like $25 for 100 foot or something.
yeah. It's definitely more expensive. I just have found over the years it can fix shoelaces easier. Like trying to
Yeah,
thread paracord in your bootlaces is
good
annoying.
point, dude.
So that's what I definitely recommend. But it's kind of worth the extra money, in my opinion. Um, let's see, what else have I not covered? Um, optics. Optics are, I mean, they go with me on every hunt. My optics never change, but I run the NL Pure 12x42s, and then I also run the Swarovski ATX 85. I love swirl glass, in my opinion. Just save the money until you can afford Swarovski, because there's nothing like Swarovski. in my opinion.
Just sell one of your kids and get it because it's so worth it.
Yeah, sell some organs, sell a body part, do whatever you gotta do.
It's
Just get
expensive, but
Swarovski.
it's worth
Yeah,
it. I need to get those new 14 by 52s. I've had the same SLCs now for probably 8 years, and I'm like, gosh, the 15s, and I'm like, I need to get those 14 by 52 NL Pures so badly.
yeah, yeah. Those are sweet. I've got a couple buddies with them, and they said that they're unreal. Completely replace the SLCs and way lighter. But yeah, man. And then I run the LP Panhead and the BC tripod. I want to get the AD. I don't have one. I've more of a, I mean, most of my glassing, I'm sitting on a glassing pad. So I just like to sit and glass. I mean, the majority, probably 85% of my glassing, I'm just sitting on my butt.
Mhm.
But the LP, believe it or not, does handle a Swarovski 85 mil spotting scope. Granted, I'm not glassing all day long, but um, yeah, I'm more of a glass on the binos, throw the spotter up, check it, digiscope, throw the spotter back
Yeah.
off, back to my binos. But it's great for that. So yeah, that's kind of my optics setup. My rifle, I just built a 300 PRC. It's kind of a custom build, so I have a chassis stock, XLR element magnesium chassis on it with the folding stock. It's got a proof research barrel. It's built on a Remington 700 Action. Chambered in a 300 PRC. I shoot a 208 grain Hornady ELDM hand load, so it's pretty sweet for deer and elk. Yeah, it's dropped a lot of animals, so it's pretty sweet. Yeah. Anything else I haven't covered, man? Just the
That's
basics, I
it.
think, kind of covered everything that you covered. But yeah, pretty simple. The only thing that changes is clothing and food. I guess I didn't cover food, but food changes from hunt to hunt. A lot of
Yeah.
peak refuel, I do eat a lot of bars, a lot of tuna and bagels, very similar to your stuff. I also eat a lot of like um, smoked stuff. So I'll smoke like some salmon from Alaska and cube it up, and that like hits different on in the backcountry. I'll just
Yeah,
vacuum seal it
for
and it
sure.
lasts forever. Um, but yeah, man, tuna packets, different things like that are always in my pack. So
You get pretty like crafty like day 4 or 5. You're like trying to make some sort of a meal. Like you're like taking some of that tuna with some of that salmon, some cheese, sort of on that bagel, and you're like trying to make something that tastes somewhat like I don't know about you, but like I'm not a huge soda guy, but dude, like I will go and get a burger and a soda after every long hunt. Like it's all I crave, dude. And like hopefully it's not Carl's Jr. or Jack in the Box. Hopefully it's like a place I can sit down and get like some onion rings and just a giant cup, like a cup of Coke with like the ice in it, like not like a can of Coke, like a big old thing of Coke or Pepsi, and like that's just it just hits different. Once you're out there and you're just like burning all those calories, you just want something good. And
absolutely.
you're never gonna replenish what you burn on a hunt. Like I'm already planning on dropping probably 15 to 20. I'm gonna hunt so much this year. I'm gonna lose a lot of weight. Like I've been in the gym like 4 or 5 days a week all year, and I'm just like I know I've already been gone a lot this last month. Like once hunting season starts, I'm just gonna start losing everything I gained. But it's fine. Like it's what you work out for. Like literally, I work out all
Yep.
year long, so I can go out and freaking kick butt. And it's a different kind of shape. Like I'll have to hunt myself into shape a little bit on some of this hiking and stuff. I haven't hiked as much as I wanted to with all the travel I've been doing, but yeah, you're good. You're never gonna. That's why I want a burger because you're burning 5,000 calories a day, and you're only eating. I try and bring 3,000 calories a day is my goal um, for food, something around there. That's why Peak is so nice because Peak actually has like 1,000 calories and 50 grams of protein. Like a Peak refill hits different than like a Mountain House. Like I still have some Mountain House stuff. They up their game a little bit, but Peak is just good. It tastes good. I'm a big fan of Peaks, man.
Absolutely.
But yeah, dude, you pretty much hit it all on the head. I mean, I think the whole reason I wanted to do this for everybody listening, if you're new to backpacking, is like to understand how simple our kits were. Like 28 pounds, that's it. Right? Like so often, like the biggest thing I see with people is they just bring too much stuff. And you don't need it. It's a simple like ounces lead to pounds, and you have to remember that. Like there might be some stuff that you have to have because you want it, I mean, like a thicker pad for me, right? Or I want to have ring gear in my pack all the time. I mean, dependent. Like if I'm in Arizona, I might not. But I want, I just there's certain things you're going to change up for everybody. But like, don't be one of these guys who goes down and you're all of a sudden you're buying like shovels from REI and this special towel they have and this and that, and like you're not going to use it. It's going to weigh you down. It's going to take up space in your pack. Um, Honestly, I do most of my hunts with a 5,000 bag. I don't. I could do an 8-day hunt with a 5,000 bag, unless I'm carrying cameras. Um, so it just, man, just keep it simple, stupid. Go out there, do some stuff locally. And I would definitely recommend in your first backpack hunts doing like 2 to 3 days. Don't do one night. One night doesn't count. One night's a camping trip. Do 2 or 3 nights out in a tent, figure out what you need, figure your kit out, hunt like that. Do that a couple of times and just minimize it, man. And once you do that a couple of times, you're gonna be ready to go and be self-proficient. And that's the biggest thing for me too, is like when I go hunting with people, like I know that if I'm hunting with Hunter, I wouldn't be having to take care of them, right? And the last thing I want to do is go on a hunt with somebody who's never backpacked and they don't know what they're doing and it's a mess. Go do some 2 to 3 day hunts on your backpack hunts. See what works for you, and get your kit set up, and you'll be ready. I mean, once you've done that, the 2 to 3 day stuff, you could do an 8-day hunt. Like you could do a 5 to 8 day hunt all day long. You know what you need, and you can make it.
Absolutely. And I would say too, if you're just getting into it, like Drew said, don't go too crazy, but also there's gear lists everywhere. Go Hunt has a million gear lists. Rock Slide has a bunch. Like go to guys that have done it for years and years and years. Learn from them. Learn what you need. Learn what you don't need, and just kind of go from there. And also, it takes time to build these kits, right? Gear is expensive. It's super expensive. So it might take you several years to get your kit dialed, but just keep after it, and you're always improving your gear. That's one thing about backpack hunters, is you're always going through your gear every single year.
Yeah, for sure. And my kit, I feel like, it's gotten so simple. One thing you got to look out for too is like getting caught up in this. Like, I have to buy all Kuyu stuff. I need a Kuyu backpack, a Kuyu tent, a Kuyu tarp,
The
like
fanboy
the
clubs, man.
Kuyu bag. Like you don't have all Stone Glacier, all whatever. Like there's so much of this stuff you can get at REI, or you can get at, like I said, that tarp I told you about. Like I'm not knocking like that I've seen that like Peaks has a new tarp and so does Stone Glacier. They're freaking rad. Like if you want to buy that tarp, buy that tarp by all means. They're great. But like you don't have to get caught up in buying like hunting brand stuff for these hunts. You can find your kit, like my kit, like even my clothes, dude. Like I don't wear all hunting clothes. Like I wear Mary Wool and Smart Wool and Darn Tough. Like I just wear what works for me. So like you don't have to go buy, just pick what works. Find stuff on Amazon. Definitely don't cheap out on your pad. Definitely don't cheap out on like a shelter. Don't go buy some, Chinese shelter that's terrible. I mean, I think they're all made in China, but like don't buy some like $100 shelter. You need something that's going to keep you alive out there, especially in a backpack hunt. Which I've done a bunch of shelter podcasts, so you guys can listen to my shelter takes on those things as well. But yeah, man, that's it, dude. I'm gonna put a gear video together for this elk hunt. Actually, they've been asking me to do it in the office for like 2 weeks now, and I haven't done it. So I've got like 3 days left to do it. So at some point, I'll put a gearlistic video together before I leave. Kind of show everybody my breakdown of my summer elk hunt kit. So it'll probably come out after elk season, which is great. It's real smart of me, but it'll be on there for years to come. So Hunter, dude, that was an awesome pod. We always end with a hunting story. So you want to give us like a 5 minute hunting story about a deer, maybe that deer behind you, or
Yeah,
any deer.
absolutely, man.
Any deer. Let's be that deer behind you. But that deer behind you is pretty impressive.
Yeah, so this deer behind me, that's last year's Wyoming deer. Last year, for anyone that follows the Wyoming deer herd, it was a brutal year. So
Mm-hmm.
two winters ago, the southeast corner of Idaho and southwest corner of Wyoming just got absolutely hammered with winter. And the winter kill was worse than we've seen in 30, 40 years, maybe the worst winter we've ever seen. The deer herd just got smashed. And so with my dad, I was sitting on all of these points and not sure what to do. I knew that it was either going to be 4 or 5 years till we hunted that unit again, or we needed to burn our points. After talking to a lot of different people and some locals, some buddies that I'd had hunt it, we decided to burn our points and just go hunting. We figured that it was going to be a long time before the deer herd ever bounced back, if they ever bounced back. And I've taken quite a few average to good deer in my life, no giants, but a lot of good deer. And I just told myself, dude, I'm going to go hunt. I'm going to try and find the biggest buck I can. I am totally fine not killing a buck. So anyways, I hunted my butt off. I put in a total of 18 days between archery and rifle season, not including scouting. So anyways, my dad and I had hunted for the first couple days, backpacked in, slept out of our tent, packed in like 2-3 gallons of water. And it was awesome. We passed a lot of good deer, but just hadn't found anything next level. My dad had to go back to work. This was in the rifle season. I'd already hunted some archery, but in the rifle season, my dad had to go back to work for a few days. So I went back out. We had drove over to a totally new spot that we hadn't scouted, just e-scouted. There was a big burn that I knew about, and we went into the burn, and within, I don't know, the first evening of glassing, we found four bucks that potentially would be shooters. I just needed to get a closer look. So I ended up watching that buck for 3 days. Just the first 2 days, he kind of gave me the slip, couldn't get on him. And then I was actually solo. My dad was coming up from work that evening. I had told my dad, texted him on the inReach, hey, got the buck found. He's bedded in an aspen grove. I'm going to go make a play. Let me know when you get here. And I went up, I think around noon. The buck bedded like around 10 o'clock, maybe like 9:45. I went up around noon, sat on the buck for like 5-6 hours, waiting for him to stand up out of his bed. And anyways, he stood up out of his bed I was like 275 yards. So built this nice long range rifle and then find this buck at 275 yards. I knew he had a little cheater on him. He's got a 2-inch cheater on his right side and a little like 1-inch kicker on his left. So knew he had a couple stickers and he had good forks and good mass. So that was the best buck that I'd seen all season, and I knew that I was going to shoot that buck. And anyways, he was bedded with another 3-point. They fed out in the evening, and I was just laying prone waiting for him to stand, and they finally stood up and gave me a shot and put him down. And then my dad came to help for the pack out. So it was awesome, man. There's nothing that I love more than sharing memories with my dad, and my family in the mountains. And it was a really special to walk up to that deer together when he got there. So yeah, hunted my butt off, but that's what makes it that much better. So
It's a stud buck. Did you put a tape on it?
yes, but just kind of rough taped him. I've never had him officially scored. He doesn't have eye guards, so
No
that
eye
really
guards. That's
hurts
what I was
him.
gonna say. That no
Yeah,
eye guards at all. But I mean, where did he go?
no
Like
eye guards.
170s?
Yeah, he's a 170s buck, mid 170s. Probably would have been that 180 buck if he would have had some eye guards, but he just doesn't. Carries his mass all the way up though. Yeah, he's a solid buck. So
Yeah, I was looking at him and I'm like, he could be 180. I'm glad I judged him right because I was like, he probably could be 180s buck, 185 probably if he had eye guards. There's like no eye guards at all on
yeah,
that buck.
no eye guards. Nope.
He looks to get some good. He's got some good mass to him though. He's got that good kicker on his left, and it's just like he's a cool buck. A really cool buck. But yeah, the eye guard thing is weird, man. Eye guards are what make animals big. You
For
throw an
sure.
extra 10 inches, an extra 10 inches onto a buck real quick with some good eye guards.
Absolutely. Yep.
So rad, dude. That was awesome, man. Where can we find you on Instagram and YouTube and stuff?
Yeah. So Instagram, my hunting page, it's at public_land_sportsmen. It's not sportsman, sportsmen, because there's multiple of us. But yeah, Public Land Sportsmen. You can find me there. YouTube, the same thing. We do have a private Facebook group too. But yeah, you can catch me there. DM me. Let me know how you liked the pod. So
Rad, dude. I'm all about it. Good pod, dude. Let's do it again.
sweet. Thanks, Drew.